Yo, this is Wavy Wayne reporting live from the storm here at NAMM 2026, and it's about to go down. We're gonna see a storm of audio production stuff, man. Look, I'm just excited to be here. It's supposed to never rain in sunny California, but it's raining today. Don't worry about my mess, man. It's a family reunion, the NAMM reunion, you hear me? We about to check out some of the hottest home studio upgrades that NAMM 2026 has to offer through the rain, through the wind, through the cold, whatever. Let's get it, baby. As we search for the best home studio upgrade that you can make, I have found a mountain of warm audio gear, and I got my guy Bobby here, and he is going to tell us what warm audio has to upgrade your studio that you should be getting right now.
I think probably the easiest upgrade you're going to need is a preamp. So for anything from here upwards. I mean, think about it. When you got your audio interface, you're using that to go from the analog world into the computer.
Yeah.
Dedicate your preamp so that way your microphone shines as best as possible, right?
Yeah. What's wrong with using a preamp that's in your box, it's already in your interface? How is this better?
So you're using, this is real electricity, this is real metal, this is making that saturation in that vocal or that guitar or whatever you're recording really come to life.
Yeah. What's your favorite warm audio preamp?
273E EQ for sure.
Yeah.
It's got the Carnhill transformer in it, gives it a little bit of tasty saturation, and you can clean it up on the way in a little bit.
Yeah.
That's my favorite by far.
Everybody loves those Carnhill transformers, man.
Always, yeah.
It's a win. All right on. Thanks,
Sweet.
Bobby.
Thanks, Wavy.
In 10 seconds, tell everyone why they need a CHORD, DAC, or headphone amp.
You don't want somebody to have an audio setup where they hear more information than you do. If you're the mixing engineer, you want to make sure you've heard everything that is in that mix. So that's probably the most important.
That's very well said. All right, y'all, the hunt is still on for the best that NAMM 2026 has to offer for your home or project studio. My man Rick Record Electronics is about to show us some heat. Check it out, check it out. What you got, Rick?
So we got a range of things here that all really would be good for home studio use. Large studio stuff's kind of over in that direction, but this stuff's kind of more realistic that you would see in larger, smaller format or home studios. So starting off over here, you're looking at the Qutest, which is a standalone DAC, and then we have the Alto.
Qutest?
Yes. So the Qutest is just doing the digital to analog conversion side of it for us, and then sending an analog signal to the Alto. The Alto is a near field monitor amplifier, so like NS10s, that kind of size speaker, 50 watts. It'll push that right there on your desk pretty well. Okay. And then it also has XLR pass-through that you can select in and out. So at my studio at home, I'm using an Alto running into NS10s, and then the XLR outs go to my Focals. Okay. So I can swap between those monitors if I want to use powered or non. And then it also has 4 headphone outs that run simultaneous to the line outs, so you can swap between those, use speakers or headphones, and kind of go from there.
Okay. Explain to someone why they would want like an external DAC. Like, why would that make sense for someone in their studio?
So really what it boils down to is most of the equipment that you see in studios is going to have a DAC chip in it. Anything that's doing any kind of digital to analog conversion, so your interfaces and things of that
Even
nature.
Your computer with the headphone output, right?
Your phone.
Why is it not good enough?
Well, so most of these things are designed the most cost-effective way possible. So we go with an off-the-shelf DAC chip that's already been designed, goes into the computer, and then they build around it. And works, gets the job done. The big difference between that and the way that CHORD approaches it is that the CHORD approach is that we handle all of the programming, all of the chipset is all done in-house. So we have a lot more resolution that comes from that. You've got better timing, you've got transients are hitting at the right times, and what it does in a studio is it gives you more information. So if you've recorded something, you're hearing the most information possible. So if somebody is going to hear it after you heard the most info. So if there's something in that mix that you needed to hear or that gets through, it's not going to get past you. Basically, is the way to approach it. So the HUGO 2 is going to be the same concept as all these, but just in a portable form factor. So you've got a DAC built into that and a headphone amp. and it's got RCAs here, so you can run it into a system as well.
Wow.
So this would work as all of your playback, giving you the most resolution, the most information possible, so that you can make the best judgment call on your mix, knowing all of the things that are there.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
the advantage of that guy is that you don't have to worry about the room so much when you're if you're doing mixing on the go, or if you mix at home and then you go to somebody's studio and here and there. This is your playback is all controlled here, so you're taking variables out.
Can I test it out and hear something here?
Please.
What sweet. What headphones are these?
So these are the Dan Clark's.
Okay.
That's gonna be your volume control there, and then you got plenty of music to choose from.
That sounds great. That sounds great. There's a lot of depth.
Yes.
Yes, a lot of depth. Sweet. And then what's the little MOJO?
So, MOJO 2 is going to be the little brother to HUGO 2. So it's got all the same functionality. It's a DAC and a headphone amp all in one. They have added a 4.4 millimeter jack to this one. So now people that are using balanced headphones have a pseudo balanced jack that they can use along with it.
Sweet. All right. Thank you, bro. Yeah. All right, y'all. Auto-Tune has brought me to a secret off-site location. They're about to show me their brand new.
Whoa.
All right, y'all, we are on the hunt for the best upgrades for the home studio in 2026 at NAMM, and I found Lorenzo at the IK Multimedia booth. Y'all know I love my IK micro loud monitors. What are y'all showing off this year that can really help home studios and project studios upgrade their sound?
So the whole line of iLoud is basically designed to improve the sound in any studio.
Yeah.
So the whole line is based on trying to put as much efficiency as possible to deliver tight bass and low-end extension.
Yeah.
And as people have described it, it's physics-defined, because we are trying to stick as much as sound pressure in the smallest volume possible. So the whole line is based on bass ports that are well designed. So they try to deliver as much bass as possible while still behave linear and without much noise. And now with the integration of the subwoofer, we basically supported all our models with a pristine low end that extends down to 30 Hertz. And it doesn't have any bass port. It has passive radiator design.
Passive radiator design.
Yes.
So it looks like it's like a triple firing sub, but that's not what's happening.
No, it's just the front cone is active and it's the actual woofer. The other two on the side are passive radiators, which basically are membranes that vibrates and resonates with the front speaker. And that basically behaves just like having a bass port, so you get the more efficiency out of the woofer, but you don't have any port noise.
Right.
So it stays pretty quiet and linear down to 25, 30 Hertz without issues.
What about internal, what about distortion? Like
the distortion is damn low. Down to 30 Hertz, it's around 0.1%. It's very low.
Okay.
And it gets up to 100 dB as SPL without issues down to 30 Hertz.
Wow. And I like that the fact that it's built into the ARC ecosystem, right? So it's like going to automatically do the room correction. How important is that for someone who might be in a studio that's for any studio? Yeah,
the room calibration, of course, is very important because the acoustical treatment in a room is very important, but it's not always doable. So you have home studios that cannot afford a proper room treatment.
Right.
And the room calibration is doing a lot of stuff that, you cannot mix without proper room calibration if you're in a home studio. And on top of that, the iLoud Sub is a smart subwoofer, as we said before.
Yeah.
And it has the ability to not only calibrate your room for both himself and the top speakers, but it also analyzes and aligns with the top speakers, both
phase alignment,
time and the gain. So it automatically aligns, as you can see, it calculates the delay and the gain adjustment for both himself and the top speakers. So
it's based on positioning.
Yeah, once you analyze it, it basically comes up completely aligned by itself after the calibration.
Wow.
And when you trim the system, so maybe you want to assess how your system sounds with different crossover frequencies, for example, and you move it around. For example, you take the crossover and bring it up to 130 Hertz. It automatically adjusts the time alignment to take that into consideration. So you don't have to account anymore for struggling with the alignment of the subwoofer with the top speakers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
that
really,
saves a lot of time and a lot of
Yeah, I mean that's something that a lot of
people.
people don't even think to do, you know, and just wondering why they're struggling with low end in their studio, and you know these type of things with time alignment is important.
The time adjustment, especially missing out by decimals of milliseconds, really messed up everything. You cannot mix anymore. You feel the subwoofer not tight with the top speakers.
Yeah.
And this one is pretty game changing for.
I can't wait to get this in my own studio, man. Now, it's been so compact. What is it? Maybe a 5-inch driver?
It's
5-inch.
I think it's 7-inch.
7 inches?
Yeah,
okay. I guess maybe.
I think I may be wrong. Maybe it's 5.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. But
Yeah, this is 4.5. I think it's 5-inch.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like, with that, what size is there a recommended room size that this will perform better in?
So this one was designed to perfectly match our plastic models of so the iLoud Micro Monitor Pro, and MTM Mark II.
Okay.
But of course, if you're in a home studio and you're not getting too much SPL out of your precisions, you can match it with precisions as well. And taking the low frequency away from the woofer really helps them to have better clarity on the mid-range. But yeah, this one is designed for home studios and small recording studios. So it's very not suited for very large recording rooms. But
So when you buy this sub though, you don't need the Arc Studio.
No.
The technology of the Arc Studio is already built in.
Yeah, it calibrates himself and the top speakers too. So as you can see here, the subwoofer is connected and it automatically calibrates both the top speakers, as you can see, separately and itself. So it does the whole system by itself.
And how much can we expect to see this on the market? Is this already out and available for sale?
Yeah, it's out since November, I think.
Okay.
It came out in November, and I think it's $599 on the market, and it has Bluetooth in, so you can stream Bluetooth directly to the system with calibration on.
Wow.
For the studios, it's something very handy. Yeah.
Sweet, man.
That's all.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Yo, I'm still looking for the best home studio upgrades for NAMM at 2026. I'm here right now with Phil. Phil, how you feel?
I'm feeling good, man.
Awesome. What do you have here, man?
So we have our new AKG C-Series microphones.
Okay.
I think if you're looking for the best studio upgrades, we'll talk about the 114.
Okay.
Okay. The 114 is a 3-pattern microphone. It has an edge terminated capsule, like our famous 414 microphone. Gets you really, really in the ballpark. It's made, if you're, let's say, eco-minded, these are made with 100% recycled metal on the bodies and the shock mount.
Nice.
And they're very, very versatile. If you need one microphone to record vocals, guitars, drums, whatever it is, this microphone can definitely handle it. It has 145 dB max SPL. So whether you're putting a guitar amp at 10 or you're doing whisper, you're whispering into it, you should have absolutely no problem. And the retail price on it, are you ready?
Yeah.
$229.
All right. Why did AKG feel the need to create this microphone? What was missing in this space that created this?
Yeah, so I feel like now more than ever, people expect more and more out of their microphones, right? They need it to do more and more. If you're making social media content, or if you're podcasting, or if you're recording bands, people want one microphone to be able to fulfill a lot of roles, right? And AKG historically has been very, very good at making these Swiss Army knife microphones, right? Like the C414.
Yeah.
That microphone has been a staple in studios forever, and it can record any source without any problem, right? So we wanted to try to bring that into a lower price point to get people into it and make these kind of very versatile microphones for people. Whether you're just starting out or you're an established studio, this is like a great option for you.
Okay, but $229.
$229.
Awesome, man. Is this already on the market?
Yes, it just came out last week.
Awesome, and soon we'll be able to get these on WavyProAudio.com because we're going to talk about a deal and make it happen.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, thanks.
Love
it.
Yo. Oh.
We got to go, man.
Bro, My bad, bro. I've been searching for the best home studio upgrades all day at NAMM 2026, and I just kind of, I'll see y'all tomorrow, bro.